You were never allowed to be rich. For almost a year, I couldn't keep more than $400 in my checking account. Not because I didn't have the money or more money than that, because something in me believed if I left more than that sitting there, something bad would happen. It wasn't safe. It needed to be moved or spent, invested, anything other than just sitting there. I used to think this was a money manifesting problem. It wasn't a money manifesting and attraction problem. It was a loyalty to family problem. And once you see this, you cannot unsee this in your life. Because this may be the single most important factor to your money manifestations and intentions coming in and attracting into your life. So we're going to start by beginning with what this wound actually is and how to address it in order to start stimulating better money progress and manifestations. There's a wound most people never name because it doesn't look like a wound. It looks like a normal life. It's called the family loyalty wound. Here's what it means. We stay loyal to the beliefs, our ways of thinking, the ways of being that our family had. Not because we consciously choose to have those beliefs, but because staying loyal keeps us close to those family members energetically. If we think differently than our parents, grandparents, our lineage, our ancestors, our guardians, it's a threat to belonging to that family. And most of us, of what we've inherited, is thinking small, thinking in a box. It's very limited. It was never fully examined, and it just basically passed down generation to generation. This wound forms when struggle and sacrifice and scarcity become normalized inside the family system. And so there's a part almost nobody ever catches, and that's when a person can unconsciously feel that having more money than their parents or their siblings or their community or somebody who's struggling would create distance and guilt and disloyalty. Sounds crazy. I know. I understand that when I first got a hold of this, I was like, this is preposterous. Okay. So we stay connected to actually being in lack, not because we want to suffer, but because there's a part of us that equates scarcity with belonging and love, because that's how our family system was. So think about that again. Scarcity with belonging and love. Okay? Stick with me here towards the end of the video because it's going to all start to make more sense and we're going to practically do something about it. Sometimes keeping ourselves in a low financial spot or a lack of manifesting things in, or really struggling with the side of how do I attract things into my life, when we start getting into these ideas and we're ready to go deeper, we start to actually put a block in front of ourselves, or with that glass ceiling, we start running into that, okay? But the soul-led individual is actually getting an invitation, okay? Now, before we head into this and I explain more, I want to tell you something that I've built, and it's for the first time ever that we're doing a free trial for this. It's called Soul. It's my soul-led manifesting and healing system. It's not a bunch of theory to sit and think about. It's actually a step-by-step daily video system and direction so that every day you know exactly what to focus on to get to your next level. Manifesting real results that your soul wants, not just you, not just collecting material things. Healing at the root in the causation so you actually feel peace. And you're actually building a way of living a more enjoyable life. Okay, so not waiting to enjoy life before arriving at some success or some result. You can start for the first time ever with a 7-day free trial, okay? And then it's $49 per month, at least the price point right now at this video. So go ahead in the description below and go ahead and get started in that right away. Again, it's free to start. Might as well. I have a 7-day sprint in there that you can use to actually generate and manifest the money that you need for the course in itself. As long as you just answer the DM, so I send you a DM, a direct message right when you join in, and I will give you the step-by-step directions for the next 7 days on what to do to manifest money in. It's pretty amazing. So this is something that you're starting to be soul-led and manifesting and healing, but literally for the first 7 days, I'm going to give you exact step-by-step video directions of how to manifest money in, okay? So get joined below, or there's a card above, or the pinned comment, okay? So let's get back to our family loyalty wound. Here's how it actually looked in my life. Most times my family didn't really keep too much money in their checking account. That $400 I mentioned was probably a usual amount for them, because the belief was if I had too much money sitting in my account, somebody might take it, something might go wrong, or I need to move things to savings. Now, the thinking is really good that they had, because, and they get into a safety feeling, like, how do I ensure that I am in a place where things are risk mitigated, lowering risk, right? But what happens is when you always keep a standard amount in the checking account, your mind becomes limited. That's the only amount I can hold. So at some point I started to ask myself, and this was several years ago now, because I've been doing this 10 years. This was probably about 9 years ago. I said, why is that? If I put more money in there and I kept $1,000 in there, would I still be safe and fine? And so what I did was I started to experiment with this. I started to keep expanding. When I had a little bit extra money, I'm not saying when I had hundreds of thousands of dollars that was available. I'm just saying when I had a little bit more money, I would keep it in the account. When I get a little bit more, I'd keep it in the account without spending it. I had bills due, just like you. I had maybe some debt to pay off, just like you. Maybe I was even going month to month, paycheck to paycheck kind of idea in my business. So it wasn't like everything just started to shift just because I was aware of this. But I started to say, how can I keep the money in there before spending it? And every day I'd look at it and I'd sit with the bank account number like a little bit more, even if it was $20 more. And I start to normalize that in my nervous system without spending, without moving it, without even paying bills yet. And what started to happen is these small beliefs that you never question start to change the trajectory of the nervous system and what it can hold in terms of manifesting money in. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be real. Some of these loyalty beliefs are almost funny once you start seeing them. We're just talking about money, okay? Let's do a funny example as well. This happened just a few weeks ago. It's pretty funny. Can you eat the leaves off of a strawberry? Some people would say, oh, I don't even know. I've never even thought about that. Or sometimes, no, I always see that they're cut off, right? In fact, when I looked it up, you can eat them. Or the watermelon seeds in a watermelon, right? I used to spit them all out because that's how I grew up. It's like you spit out the watermelon seeds. And the more I look it up, actually, the seeds are extremely nutritious and it's a very good thing to eat them, right? So these are inherited beliefs. If you don't start questioning everything in your life, you start to look at things the same way as everyone else used to think about them. So in this video, we're talking about money manifesting and money law of assumption, like Neville Goddard would say, like assuming that your beliefs are different, assuming your thoughts are different. But I say these small examples on purpose because they're funny, right? From strawberry leaves to watermelon seeds. Like, does that actually matter? It doesn't actually matter, but it's an analogy for how we can start questioning our life around money. Why do you believe what you believe? Is it really that money's a struggle? It may have been for a long time and many years for you working 3 jobs or whatever it's been. I've been there too. But when you start to look at it, is it really the struggle around money? Or is it maybe a struggle of alignment? Or is it maybe a struggle of, I just don't know what else to do? You see? So I encourage you to like this video if you're getting value out of it, subscribe so you start being here more with our soul tribe. But most importantly, comment below, what's one belief that you'll start questioning about your family? And we're going to go, stick with me here again, because at the very end, we're doing a practical exercise for this, okay? But remember, we stay loyal because disloyalty means I'm the outcast. I might be judged, criticized, disowned, ignored, so numbed out. And it starts to look like if I just stay loyal, it seems like a safer option for my inner child. See, this is part of the healing and manifesting we're doing. But loyalty will keep you small because I'm staying loyal to something I actually don't authentically believe in, but I'm doing so because I don't want to be the outcast. I don't want to not have a community to belong in. And that's part of actually our survival instinct to the inner child is I want to belong so that I live. I don't want to rock the boat or outperform somebody in my family or make them feel bad about themselves because they're struggling and I'm not, right? This gets very complicated. Are you following here? Go ahead and let me know in the chat box or yes in there in the comment box if this resonates with you at all. Like sometimes you don't like to watch people suffer or struggle. You know, so it's like, well, if I keep myself low, then it just feels right or in some sort of moral and just way. It's kind of like, why should I have clean water when half the world doesn't have clean water, or something like that? Like, as if that if I don't drink clean water, it's justifiable that they don't either, right? But actually, the more you help yourself, the more you can help others get clean drinking water, because you're in a healthy psychological state, physicality state, and mentality to go out and be able to help others, right? So if you're actually not in suffering, you can help others rise to suffering. So you don't want to be in sympathy, because if you're suffering and they're suffering, not many people can help each other out. But you can have empathy for their scenario, but not the sympathy of it. It's very different. Yeah. So the shift that actually resolves this is the whole reason why I'm doing all this healing work with all my clients and members right now. Especially, we do this live on my coaching calls every week, because we want to get to the depths of the causation of why money is the way it is. Here's the kicker to all this. You don't have to choose family or my new authentic self. That's what the mind will create. I either have to be loyal and belong but suffer with money, or I need to not be loyal to them and actually have my own authentic beliefs. But that's not actually true. The mind creates these huge spectrums. What actually happens is there's a third better way. The third better way is you eternally can help your family and ancestors by leading the way with light. So the more authentically aligned and synced to your soul you are, you're actually helping your bloodline, ancestors, everything more than they could possibly ever imagine in their physical life. Because you're cleaning up, you're healing. And so you're actually not abandoning them. You're actually evolving so that they can eventually follow you, whether in this lifetime or another. That's not exactly how it goes. They're not actually following you, because we're all interconnected with our ancestors. So whatever you're doing for them, you're doing for you, and vice versa. Okay? They've done everything they've done extremely well to the best of their ability in order to help you get to where you're at, even if they missed the mark 1,000 times over. We're always standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, and there's always things they did very, very well. And so we can start to be very, very grateful for that. And there's a lot of things they didn't do very well, just like you and I. We didn't do it all well. Okay? I'm not perfect. I know you're not perfect either. I'm sure you would agree with that. So we all have these things that we miss and do well with. Okay? So when you start to understand this, I would encourage maybe watch this video over and over to really ingrain this, because it starts to bring light and awareness to your money manifesting scenario. Here's a practice I would start suggesting you do once a day, 5 minutes a day. First, identify one belief, just one, about money, marriage, relationships, health, living, whatever it is, okay, that maybe you have never questioned. Okay, I'm talking about everything. Question every little tiny part of your life. If you need to, look at what did my family believe in, and do I still believe it? Okay. Second, you have to be very, very deeply honest to yourself. Is this belief mine, or did I inherit it? Third, and this is the one that starts to change everything, is you go inward and ask your soul directly, not your mind. Your soul, you ask, what do you want me to practice around this? All right, the first thing that comes to mind. You could start something like this. Hey, soul. Okay, introduce yourself if you're not used to this. Reconnect. And then ask it, what do you think around money that would be better for me to think? What do you think about this scenario that is more beneficial for me to hear than my mind? Right? So you start discerning what's your soul and what's your mind, and you start listening to what your soul thinks about that. And then the fourth step, usually you want to do with somebody, like a practitioner, a facilitator, a healer, a healing guide, not healer, a healing guide of some sort. We do this all the time in our course and program, but what you want to do is go back to memories when you had to remain loyal to a family belief system in order to actually sustain your living and self. So for example, if you ever thought differently, or you're the black sheep, you were outcast, you were criticized, you go back to that memory because it made it mean something about you in your life. And what you do is you go to the deepest part of that memory that you can remember and sit there with the pain of that younger version of you, exactly how they felt at that time. You feel and experience that in your nervous system. You pause the frame and let spirit correct the entire thing, because spirit's doing all the healing. And then you revise the scene to have those people involved see for the very first time that what they did was incredibly hurtful to you. And so what the healing session is doing is removing the meaning, removing the emotion from the memory. And when that happens, you can actually remember the memory, but it no longer has charge over you. And so the healing is like getting into a place where you're creating separation from the memory and the emotion and meaning behind it. I'm going to have a lot more videos on this. This is a healing modality that is a core 7 steps of what we do every day. I mean, sometimes one session in about 30, sometimes it's a little longer, 40 minutes, has cleaned up 10 years, 20 years, 50 years of recurring one theme in somebody's life. You know, this is not a made up thing. We have testimonials. We have over 1,000 plus testimonials of people saying like they did one session with me or one session with my team, and it just cleansed that entire way of thinking and being that they've been thinking for 50 years. And so by doing so, it's not always that because sometimes your core wound has the onion layers, and sometimes you need to do 3, 4, 5 sessions because there's so many different elements of meanings that were created. It's not just one. And so we go and we start to reorganize this entire system, and then you're no longer triggerable in those ways anymore. You might be in other ways, but you're no longer triggerable in those ways, because the only reason why we're triggered by anything is because the meaning, emotion still lingers, you see? And so when we start to remove the meaning and the emotion from all of it, it starts to change. And now you can start manifesting what your soul or life is calling to manifest into your life without resisting it. And therefore your wounds and your core parts of you are no longer resisting what's trying to be manifested in and what you're trying to attract in and everything. And this goes back to even again the law of assumption with Neville Goddard, because you're starting to assume a different way of living, the way your soul sees the world, not the way your mind trauma complex saw the world when it was 5 because of something that happened. Yeah. Is this making sense? So if you want to know more about this, again, get started on our 7-day free trial, but also link below. You can always book a call with us to do a session to really go into the depths of getting into healing and helping yourself, because healing and manifesting go together. You start healing, it's going to bring more peace into your life, but the manifesting side will start to become less resistant. You won't have so much overthinking and how's it going to come and where's it going to come from and all these things at the same time. Yeah? Scott Haug signing off here. I look forward to seeing you over the next video, and I can't wait to see you also in our soul school group so we can start taking things to a step-by-step next level for you.